We've all heard the saying, the rich gets richer while the poor gets poor. In this video, I'm going to reveal why net worth typically explodes after 100k and how you can get there ASAP. Now, since it's probably the first time you and I meet, why should you even listen to me? My name is Fred and I went from only having $400 over 5 years ago to starting a profitable lead generation business and then transitioning into consulting and making upwards of $1,000 per day. On this channel, I share not only my journey as an entrepreneur, originally from a lower middle class background, but also step-by-step strategies so you can become financially free. The first lesson I would like to share with you is that capital scales incredibly well. So what do I mean by that exactly? You see, I personally grew up in a lower middle class family, and so as a teen, I felt extremely frustrated because we never had enough money to do the things that we wanted to do. And while I would see my parents breaking their backs at work every day, only to earn breadcrumbs to be underpaid, undervalued, sometimes I would happen to see a supercar on the highway, and I would always wonder how come somebody can afford to drop $200,000 on a car. That's more than my parents' house. And at home, I would always hear my parents complaining about the price of things, the price of food, gas, electricity, clothes, everything. And to me, it felt like we were living half of a life because we constantly had to worry about bills and about the rest. So from a very young age, I deeply felt like it was my duty to become successful and find a way to become wealthy to get my family out of the hell we were in. So growing up, my parents never taught my sister and I the concept of liabilities versus assets or even investing, because the truth is they were clueless about these things. If they had known what wealthier people know, then they would have been far wealthier themselves. And I can't really blame them for it. They didn't grow up in an era where information was readily available like in today's era. Nowadays, you can pretty much learn anything online. That's how I personally learned multiple languages, that's how I got in shape, and that's how I built a profitable business. Now, let's say you were to invest $100 in the stock market. When you do this, you are taking a form of financial risk. And so as a reward, you get, let's say, a return on investment of 10% per year. So at the end of the year, you get $10 extra. So now you would have $110. Now, $10 extra is not going to change your life. In fact, you could probably make more than that just working 1 extra hour in your job. But technically speaking, all you had to do was to invest your money into a certain stock or a certain portfolio, and now you got a 10% return on investment. So it's a pretty passive way to make extra money. Other types of investments, such as real estate, are often marketed as a passive way to make money on the side, but in reality, that's not the case. Investing in real estate is a full-time job, and it's not easy to do. It also requires a lot of startup capital, and you have to deal with plenty of issues like tenants not paying the rent, tenants literally destroying your property. Like, there's so many things that go into making money with real estate. So the stock market is probably the most passive kind of investment you could have. Now, what happens if you had invested $100,000 in the stock market? Let's say you get the same 10% return. At the end of the year, you would have an extra $10,000. And what's very interesting is that in order to earn more, you had to invest more initially. But that's it. You took on the same amount of risk as in the first scenario where you invested $100. So what we can take away from this is that the more money you invest in the stock market initially, the more you will get out of it. And due to the nature of compound interest, your wealth keeps growing as long as you keep reinvesting your earnings. Now, Einstein himself said that the compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it. And in the case of investments, compound interest is the interest you earn on your investments. Let's say you invested $10,000 and you get a 10% return on your investment. At the end of the year, you would now have $11,000. And if you were to save that money instead, you would still only have $10,000. And because of inflation, your money would be worth less. Your buying power would be lower. And so if you kept reinvesting that, the next year, because you had $11,000 working for you, so to speak, you would get again 10%, which would be $1,100. So at the end of the year, you would have $12,100 as long as you keep reinvesting your earnings. And so when you do that, the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and also faster and faster and faster. So not only are you earning money on the initial amount that you invested, but also on the interest you've made from that initial investment. And one thing I've learned after speaking to 6-figure, 7-figure earners is that the rich don't work for money. If you had $1 million in your bank account just sitting there, it wouldn't be wise not to invest it, because you would have a lot to lose if you don't. Money is meant to be spent, money is meant to circulate. Now the real question is, how long will it take to get your first $100,000? Well, to be honest with you, it's going to depend on your starting point. The more you can invest and the faster you can invest, then the faster you'll be able to reach 100k invested. So if you were to save $1,000 per month with a return on investment of 8%, after 7 years, you would have 100k invested. But 7 years is a pretty long time. However, what's interesting is that the amount of time it will take you to make another 100k, it won't be even shorter. Instead of waiting 7 more years, it would only be 4 years, because now you have a significant amount of money invested. Your original investment has as well as the interest that you've already collected, and that money is working for you. And since the historical average return on investment of the stock market is 10%, when you do manage to have $100,000 invested, if you want to turn that into $1 million, it typically takes about 24 years from the start. Charlie Munger passed away with an estimated net worth of $2.7 billion and is famous for saying the following: "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. At first, since you don't have a lot of money invested in the stock market, you will have to do most of the heavy lifting yourself. It's like when you're first trying to exercise to be fit and healthy. The first couple times you go to the gym or you work out, you won't like it most likely. It's going to be painful, it's going to be difficult. But then you get into the habit of doing it, and before you realize it, it's such a deeply ingrained habit. If you don't exercise, you feel strange, you don't even feel good. But that's the reason why I advise people who want to become financially free to start a business, because it's the fastest way to make a lot of money. If you want to have $100K invested in the stock market and you only save money from your job to invest it in the stock market, it's gonna take you at least 7 years like we saw if you are able to have $1,000 per month at an 8% return on your investment. So it's gonna take a while, but with a business, I've seen plenty of people go from 0 to 6 figures in less than 5 years. And if you know exactly what you're doing, you're following a proven step-by-step process, the truth is you can even get there faster in 12 to 24 months. And if I'm able to make upwards of $1,000 a day in my early 20s, it's not because I invested in the stock market or any of those things, because that wouldn't be realistic. So back in 2022, I started a done-for-you lead generation service for agency owners, coaches, and consultants. I was helping them to book more meetings for their business. And then I transitioned into consulting, so helping people to start their own business and helping existing businesses to scale further. So if you are an ambitious individual and you truly want to be financially free so you can live life on your own terms, but you don't want to have to wait 20 years or 30 years to finally have enough money to do all the things that you want, I invite you to check out the free resources in the description below. I've made a free video training in which I'm sharing with you the same business model that allows me to make upwards of $1,000 per day, and most of it is profit. And you will also discover the only 3 activities you need to focus on if you want to make serious money. But keep in mind, this is only for committed individuals, that minority of people who truly want to be financially free. You can also directly apply to book a call with me or my team, and we'll see if you qualify for working with us closely. What I've realized after speaking to plenty of wealthy individuals, and even from my own experience of life, is that most people, unfortunately, they put money on a pedestal. They prioritize money over time. To give you an example, growing up in the lower middle class, my parents just focused on selling their time. And so of course, they would always reach a ceiling when it comes to how much money they could make. I would see my mother spending hours of her time filling out online surveys just to get promotion codes or free products from the grocery store. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you don't make much money, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, you know? But spending the rest of your life in this kind of state where you sell your time or you prioritize money over time, all it's going to do is to waste probably decades of your life. I can tell you for a fact, most older billionaires right now, they would give away 80-90% of their wealth if they could be 30 years younger again. Because each day, each week, each month that goes by, it's lost forever. It's gone. You will never get that time back. Which is why you need to optimize your time as much as possible. Every year you wait to start your business, every year that you spend working a job that you hate, it's yet another year that you could have used to do something bigger, to make your dreams come true, to build a profitable business so you can invest more in the stock market, so you can travel the world, so you can be free, so you can get your dream house, your dream car, whatever it may be. And you can spend the rest of your life working extremely hard, saving up your money or investing it. And sure, one day when you're about to retire, you'll have a decent pile of cash in the bank to be able to live your life however you please. But the most beautiful years of your life, your 20s, 30s, even your 40s, you won't have gotten to enjoy them because you were too busy saving money to invest or just working your job instead of doing something that you feel is aligned with you. Starting a business is the fastest route to $100,000. So look, you need to make a choice now. You're free to keep watching YouTube videos and you can learn a lot on YouTube, but let's be honest, if you truly want to be financially free, you need to take action. So for that reason, if you are part of that minority of committed individuals, you want to build your business and become financially free, make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month, even more, I invite you to check out the free resources in the description below or to directly apply to book a call with me or my team, and we'll see if you qualify for working with us closely. That being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower more ambitious individuals to become financially free. And when we get to 100,000 subs, I will be giving away $10,000.